Alright, so I've installed most of the boards here. I just need to attach the last little bracket to the end there, and then I'll lift this guy up and we can do a final test on the edge lighting. Alright, so the last panel is up there. Now I've got to go around and hook up the final connections. See if I can do this without falling down. Those guys. And we can turn it on and see it in action. Well, then first I gotta make some power connections temporarily up there in the final product. That will be a hole in the ceiling where the wires will poke through into the attic. But of course, not yet. So this is the power supply I'm going to be using. This is a Dell T2411. It outputs 5.4 volts at around 2.5 amps. It's actually the same thing that's used for my trusty Dell Axim Pocket PC that I used through high school. See, here's its power supply, same thing. And it's pretty ideal because it's nice and small, so I can hide it in any number of corners. It provides a lot of power for its size, 2.5 amps at 5.4 volts. And well, it's a name brand, and safety mark. It says safety mark. Got all the right stickers. So manufactured by Lite-On, so that's nice. And the reason I'm worried about that is, of course, if I'm going to leave this plugged in all the time in my attic, I want to be pretty darn sure that it's not going to explode and burn my house down. That would be pretty bad. So unfortunately, it has a somewhat weird plug on the end. I suppose it's not that weird, but I do have a connector that fits on the end of that, but unfortunately it doesn't get a reliable contact, so I think I need to do something kind of naughty and snip that off and attach a different kind of connector. Alright, so I'm testing the power supply. I've chopped up the connector, unfortunately, and with no load it's 5.57 volts, which is a little bit high. The maximum spec on the chips that I'm using is 5.5 volts. As soon as I add in about 250 milliamp load provided by this little light, nothing much changes, but might have to stick a regulator on there. Well, for now I think I'm just going to be lazy and stick a diode across there. That should do pretty good. And without any load, perfectly acceptable. Oh yes. Fantastic. It all works. Well, that LED was moved. Easy enough to fix. Obviously I have to adjust where each LED is pointing. I didn't really try to do that when I was assembling this. I just kind of bent it to whatever shape. Let's turn off these lights. Oh, this is nice. The camera keeps adjusting its exposure time. The brightness is changing smoothly. It's just the camera switches. I'm going to have to quickly code up some stuff to just do some fading patterns so I can try it out. Half an hour of programming later, I've got some moving blobs of light. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of subtle. I wanted it that way. But there's little blobs moving around very slowly. It's quite a nice effect. So you can see one going across over there. Awesome. So now I have to wire up some controllers, like to replace this. I'll probably have a main switch for the regular light, which is over there. And maybe a slider or something like that for you know, the brightness of these guys, and then maybe a mode button. I'm also going to have over here on the part of the bed, same controls, slider and various other controls, and also a LED display. Don't worry, it's not going to be bright enough to keep you awake. It's a really dim, like 1980s display that I made a little comment about previously on my vintage, what was it, point of sale device teardown. So that's going to be here. It's going to control music and all that stuff, and that will be good. Cool. So I've exaggerated the brightness and the speed of the blobs a little bit so that you can see them a bit better on the camera, and they look pretty good in real life. There you can see one go around the corner, followed by another one. So of course I'm going to add more patterns to this as I think of them. Perhaps a moving star field type thing. Of course it'll have to be, you know, in sort of 2 dimensions. I guess 1.2 dimensions or something like that. So I'm going to end this video here, and I will update as usual when there's updates.